Coaches, hope you guys are doing incredible. So we are hosting this masterclass today all about sales. And this is something I've been getting a lot of questions about, and honestly it's one of the biggest needle movers in any business. And I'm going to quickly explain this to you guys on the front, why sales is such an important lever in your business, and then we'll dive into how to make sure we're doing a good job at it, okay? So as you guys are jumping on here, give me a wave down below and let me know if you're either watching the live version of this or if you're catching this on the replay. If you're catching it on the replay, just comment down below replay, and I hope you enjoy this one. If you're catching the live version of this, go ahead and comment down below live, and I'm super excited to get you guys this training. This training right here, when we give it to actually our clients in our CCI program, a lot of them can literally double their revenue in 30 days. Because here's the thing, most people when they come into our program, they're booking sales calls, but maybe they're only closing like 20% or 25% of the sales calls that are coming to them. Hey, Javon, hope you're doing good. Daniel, hope you're doing good. Marcia, Jeremy, hope you guys are doing great. Bruno, hey, hope you're doing great, my man. So most people come into our program. Now, here's the cool thing. Like, let's say someone's having, I'm just gonna write up here in the corner, 2 sales calls per week, okay? Now, if they're only closing 20 or 25%, they're only closing half a client per week. That's not real, but so basically they'd be getting a client every other week. Now, the cool thing is lots of the times with the work that we do with our clients, we can get them starting to close 40 to 50%, basically helping them double their revenue by just doing a better job at sales, okay? And so I'm gonna be diving through 2 different things that are gonna be very important for you guys as far as sales go. We're gonna be talking about the stuff that happens before the call and the stuff that happens on the sales calls, okay? So those are gonna be the 2 things we run through. Now, before I kind of dive into this, comment down below where you're at with sales. Basically, comment down below how many calls would you say you're having weekly, and maybe what are some of the issues you're having. Comment them down below so that'll make sure that I actually hit on what's gonna be helpful for you guys today. And I'm super excited about this. Also, I did put up in the caption, if you guys wanna check it out now or check it out later, I put in a YouTube video link right above this that shares one of our clients that started to work with us, and they had struggled with sales before, and when they worked with us, they literally tripled their business in their first month. So if you want to check that out later, you can check it out, it's above. So let's run through this, okay? So we're gonna be talking about quality of the leads coming on to sales calls, and we're going to be talking about the sales calls themselves and how to do them the right way. So Daniel has 5 calls a week. Okay, that's pretty good. Probably could up it a little bit to 7 to 10, but that's pretty good. And we want to make sure that obviously your percentages are doing good with all of this, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead, turn the camera around, and I'm going to run through what you want to be focusing on, and we'll go from there. Now, before I do this, I'm going to quickly let you guys in on something, which is a lot of people don't even know that sales calls are the way to do it. If you're charging something, and here's how we normally talk about it in the online space. If you're gonna charge more than $500 for something, you do wanna get on some sort of call with someone to sell to them. Because when you start to charge more, you need to actually give more intentionality and care and support to those people. Now, if you're charging something that's less than $500, you could still get on a very short, 5-10 minute sales call, but you can also close people just via Messenger or via email. And so it's not necessary to get on a call if it's less than $500. You still can, you'll have a higher closing rate, but when you do sell something that's more expensive, you want to be getting on the phone. So that's the reason. So anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna turn this around. We've got a couple more people joining us. Hey, guys that are joining us, give a wave down below. So I'm gonna turn this camera around and I'm gonna dive into this. So let's talk about lead quality first. One of the first things that I often hear from people is like, hey, I get calls, but these people aren't either my ideal clients or aren't good quality leads. And so a lot of the time, people's closing percentage is so low because they literally aren't doing the first step, which is quality control. Now, what does quality control mean? So you need to have a criteria of people can only get on the sales calls with me, or I'm only kind of talking with leads that are a good quality. Now, this is something that I see a lot of people doing, and they're self-sabotaging themselves. A lot of you, if you actually looked at the people you're having conversations with, and if you actually looked at them and thought to yourself, is this a high quality person, someone that I could really see in my program doing really, really well, a lot of you would realize a lot of calls that you have, they're not the people you want to work with. And this is really important. I remember back in the day, 5 years ago, when I was an online fitness coach, and I was trying to get clients, I often would self-sabotage and go lead generate with people that honestly, they weren't high quality people. And it was because I was scared to talk to the high quality people because I didn't know if I was worthy of getting them as a client. But as soon as I started working on myself and I started going after the high quality people, and I mean, when you're on social media finding leads, you can very easily tell if someone has a high quality social media or if they're not. It's very easy to tell. So the first thing is, you need to understand that whenever you're generating leads, you're nurturing them, etc., quality is more important than anything, okay? This will turn your call percentage from a low amount to a really high amount, and you'll enjoy it more because these people are a lot more fun to work with, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing that you want to figure out before you get on a sales call is what we call nurture process. Now, most people, business coaches out there, they'll teach you to just message people and set up sales calls. Now, a lot of the times, that's premature. Basically, you're trying to ask someone to marry you before you actually start dating. And so you need to understand, how do I nurture people? How do I get somebody to become a hot lead before I ask them to get on a call? A lot of you guys are probably asking people when they're just cold or maybe a little bit warm to get on a call when they need to be blazing hot. So now if you want help with the nurturing process, we actually have a full workshop on that in this announcement section. And so if you want to go check that out afterwards, you can just type in nurturing process in the search bar in here and you can find that training. So you need to make sure that we get them really, really hot and spiced up before we ask to get on a call with them. That's the second thing that's super important, because you can get some cold people getting on calls with you, but they don't trust you really much yet. They might be interested, but they don't know you enough yet. And so when you get hot prospects on the call, those are the people who are just like, yeah, like, where do I pay? I'm totally good with paying. So that's why you want to make sure that it's hot. The third thing you want to do before the call is be completely transparent. A lot of people, even when they're offering the call, they'll disguise it as a discovery call or a strategy session. And the person comes on the call not knowing that they're going to be sold to today. And so that makes, basically when people have an expectation that it might not be a sales call, and then you also drop some prices on them, they're going to be like, hey, I didn't know this was a sales call. So be transparent. Don't do the old tactics where get as many calls as we can. Who cares if they know it's sales calls or not? Don't do that, okay? So that's what you want to do in the forefront for lead quality, so that when we're actually getting to the call, these people are high quality people, they're heated up as a lead, and they know exactly what's going on. Like, think about this. So think about the comparison. Let's say we have a not high quality person. They're very cold. They don't really know, or trust us that well, and they don't think it's a sales call. And you get on a call with them and you wonder why your closing rate's so low. Is because all three of those things aren't where they should be. So anyways, write those things down, Who's taking notes? If you are, comment down below me. I want to make sure you guys are taking some notes. I'm going to take a quick sip of my Zevia. People always think I'm drinking pop or beer while I'm doing my trainings. But it's a Zevia, it's natural, okay? Take it easy. Anyways, now let's talk about the sales call official, okay? So I just want to go through 3 different things here, because a lot of people don't understand these 3 things very well. So the first thing is the flow of a sales call. A lot of people, they have a script that they wouldn't follow. It's just they follow it word by word, line by line. Now, that maybe is a good place to start if you just don't even know how to do any kind of sales, but you want to learn the flow of a sales call. So you want to learn how to preface the call, right? How to preface the call and make sure that people understand what the call's about, what you're going to be doing with it, etc. Then you want to dive in on basically where they are at currently. So their current situation, okay? So current situation, their goals, and you basically want to what we call bridge the gap, right? So if they are here and they want to get, so this is where they are, and they're here. Basically on the call, you want to bridge this gap and you want to make sure they understand that they're here, they want to get here, so the pains and struggles are here, the goals and desires are here, and that you are the bridge. Basically, that's a sales call. So you want to go preface, figure out their current situation, their pain points, their problems, then dive into their goals, and at that point, then you can come and you can offer a solution to it all. Anyways, so you want to understand the flow of a sales call, because even for me right now, like I don't use a script for my sales calls, but we follow this process, okay? And so very, very interesting to do that. Now there's a couple do not, I have this like X mark here of like what you should not do on a sales call, okay? So the first thing that we do not on a sales call is a lot of people, the first thing, follow a script very woodenly. Don't do that. The second thing is you don't want to be, like there's this whole like group of business coaches that teach you to be very salesy and like car salesy, pushy, aggressive, where they're like, you don't get off the phone until they pay, etc. And it's just not great. Don't be aggressive, don't be pushy, don't be mean, don't use tactics on those calls that are like going to manipulate people. Like, you want to think about it in the way that sales is service, okay? Sales is service. You're doing this to serve somebody. So that's the one way of saying it. The second way of saying it is you want to illuminate people's pains. You don't want to manipulate them to feel a pain, okay? So you want to do things the right way, okay? Don't try to sell hardcore just to make money. We're here to serve people. And then the third and final piece, this is actually a very interesting piece. So on sales calls, understand a lot of you have been taught maybe to have just one offer, that's the only thing you sell, and like if they can't afford it, then they're not a good lead. No. When you offer someone to someone, every great business has a couple different things. They have flexible plans. So let's say someone can't pay you up front, we'll have a 3-month payment plan or even a 6-month payment plan for someone to get into your program. At the end of the day, businesses that are really big, they have all these different options. Now, don't have like 20 options on the front end, but have 2 or 3 options of people that people can do different things, because as a new business, you want to be getting in the new clients, so you want to be serving them. And so it doesn't matter if it pays them over 6 months, you actually can build a more recurring revenue that way. So anyways, those are a couple things that I want to run through today on the sales call. Obviously, we could go more in depth, and I might go more in depth sometime, but I wanted to give the basics just so you guys understood them. So let's go ahead and ask some questions down below. I'll also turn the camera around so I can actually now see the questions, but I will turn this camera around. Let's make this happen. Anyways, so those are the main things we want to go through on a sales system today. What happens prior to the call? What happens on the call? And then obviously there is the whole system of how to follow up with people. And we don't have time to go into that today. I wish we did. But basically, if people don't buy in on the call, you want to have a follow-up process of keep on providing value for them. You want to keep on just checking in with them. Having a game plan of maybe when's the next time that we can chat to see if it is a good fit. So there's a couple things there. I won't go crazy in depth on that today. But any questions on this before we jump off for the day? I hope this was helpful. If this was helpful, comment down below helpful and hit some hearts on the side. Would love to know if you guys found value in this today. I'm sure some of you did, but I just want to make sure. Also, for you guys, I love that I was yeah, most people are just taught to just have one price point structure, and it's, you know, honestly, it's just kind of funny. Most people that are, whether they're making $1 million or more, they actually prefer people to pay on longer term payment plans because it builds more recurring revenue, and you can actually get, basically it's an easy way to get a bit of a higher profitability on the back end. So it's actually really interesting. It's really interesting. So for you guys who just came in later on, you can definitely watch the replay of this. Like I said at the beginning, I put a video up above in the caption of one of our clients who struggled with sales, and then coming into our program, she literally tripled her business in like 3 weeks because we just taught her some of these basic things. So if you guys want to go check that out after, you can go up ahead. And like I also said, if you guys need help with the nurturing part, we have a full workshop on that. And so make sure that you go check that out in the group if you need help with that. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. We're going to be doing another masterclass next week around this time. So if you guys have any ideas or thoughts on what you'd like to hear more of, send them to me. We're always looking to see how we can provide more value for you guys. And if you haven't checked out all the other crazy stuff that we got going on in there. We have almost 40 different masterclasses. So if you go to the top of the group, there'll be an announcement section and you can click on it, and there's so many different masterclasses that you guys can go ahead and watch. And watch the ones that are going to be most helpful for you with where your business is at. So anyways, that being said, I do need to jump off for the day. I got a couple more things to do. We got more people that we've hired in the last week, so just super excited about our team growing. More clients coming in, and so I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Friday. We'll see you guys soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Send them to me personally.